Howl. Upon hearing this, Purple Jade yelped happily and immediately picked up the gadget. Subai sucked out the undead crystal nucleus's light balls and infused them into the Purgatory Tyrant's egg. It would do for now. He could start hatching the egg when they were completely saturated, but before starting the incubation, he still had to buy some special materials and make special hatching fluid. After that, he also lay down on his bed to play with his phone. Would not train anymore this afternoon as he intended to have a good rest today. In the afternoon, he would have fun by going fishing in the reservoir. Fishing had always been one of his sources of happiness, and he liked catching fish and then raising them. There was a special large fish tank in the yard with some small fishes he was raising inside. After lunch, he brought the cub and his fishing gear to the reservoir. More than half a month had passed since the tomb sweeping day. At the end of April, fresh green buds hung on the branches of the mountains and plains, verdant and green, looking very pleasant to the eye. When he came to the construct reservoir, the forest in the outermost periphery had already undergone construction. Subai informed his parents and then went to the side of the reservoir. He found an open area with a nice view and started fishing. The so-called meaning of life was just like fishing. Despite throwing his rod confidently, he might not necessarily get a full harvest as anticipated. The occasional breeze was not necessarily a surprise, and sometimes, despite accidentally lifting the rod, a large harvest could still be obtained. The so-called fishing was a test to grasp the right timing. Once the opportunity was lost, it would never come back and would forever be gone. Even though the fishing rod had not moved for half a day, Subai was not in a hurry and had long been accustomed to waiting. Besides, the surrounding green mountains and clear streams were such a nice view that he did not feel lonely at all. Suddenly, the fishing rod that he had been waiting for floated up, but he only managed to fish one the size of a thumb. "Here you go, buddy." He took off the hook and handed the fish to his pet. Howl. Sigh, turned A. Sigh. The cub summoned spiritual power and removed the fish's internal organs before swallowing it in one mouthful. Licking its mouth, it signaled him to fish something bigger. This small fish was not enough for it. "Why are you in a hurry? A big fish will come." The youth dropped the fishing rod and caressed his pet. Sitting in the cool spring breeze, he fished the same small fish a few times. Finally, he knelt beside the cub, which had finished eating the fish's internal organs. "Subai, what are you doing?" After more than an hour, Chen Roshua made a video call. The girl was lying in bed with her hair hanging loosely. "I'm fishing. I'm planning to relax today." Subai switched the lenses to show her the water surface and then the surrounding hills. At this time, all were with vibrant emerald color. "Wow, it's so beautiful there. Where are you? Can I come over and play, too?" "I'm so bored at home," exclaimed the girl, attracted by the beautiful scenery. "I'm at the construct reservoir, you can come over. I'm right across the riverbank, so you'll see me as soon as you arrive." Subai shrugged casually. "Okay, wait for me. I'll be there in half an hour." The girl hurriedly hung up. Howl. Half an hour later, he saw an electric vehicle parking on the embankment, and then a figure in white got down and looked around. "Here." He stood up and waved, pointing to the left side to signal that there was a road there. "Wow, it's so beautiful here. You're so laid back. How's your harvest? Have you caught any?" Chen Roshua smiled and walked over. At this moment, the boy's fishing rod floated, with a small fish pulling vigorously on it. He reeled the small fish and handed it to his pet, looking embarrassed. "Ha ha ha. It seems that you're not good at fishing. I thought it's a big fish, but it's actually such a small pitiful one." She covered her face and laughed. Subai asked sternly, "What do you know?" "I'm fishing for the realm. It's the same as fishing. Some people do it for the fish, and others do it for the process, while the rest do it for the result. They all end up doing the same thing but have different spiritual realms. For example, I fish for the process and focus on self-cultivation. I like watching the view and getting an epiphany, so it doesn't matter what kind of fish I harvest." Upon hearing that, Purple Jade could not help but glance at its owner. The boy had just complained about not catching any big fishes moments ago, but he was talking about having an epiphany now? "Really?" Chen Roshua sat down beside her friend and smiled. "Although what you said seems to make sense, I still feel that you're making excuses. What excuses? You see people living by the water for their livelihood. Jiang Zia fished for politics, while Zhuangzi fished for freedom. I'm fishing to receive enlightenment from nature. Su Bai argued that a fisherman's business was not as simple as it looked. How was this considered an excuse? Okay. I believe you, Su Little Bai. The girl laughed. Give me a fishing rod, too. I want to harvest 2 fishes for my Xiao Bai. Look, it's starting to drool. How could a fisherman's business be called an excuse? It was an epiphany. You can use mine, I'll take a new one. Be careful with the hooks. He handed her his green bamboo pole. This was a unique pole which would not break even with great force. He then took a white pole, which he had prepared for his father. Su Bai had just put the bait on the fishing rod and tossed it when the girl suddenly lifted her rod fiercely. The whole rod instantly bent into a semicircle, and a large red koi vigorously swung its tail underwater. Wow, I caught a big fish. It's a big dish. Quickly reel it in. Chen Roshue was so excited that she yelled while reeling the fish in vigorously. Su Bai. He was feeling depressed now. Despite feeling depressed, he picked up the net and taught the girl how to capture the fish. 10 minutes later, a large red koi weighing more than 10 kilograms and 30 centimeters long was captured. Hey, this is a koi, isn't it? It's so long and slippery. Chen Roshue touched the fish and spoke happily. Yes, it's about to reach the servant level. Su Bai nodded. Then do you want it? I'll give it to you. Otherwise, I'll set it free. I'm reluctant to feed this koi to my Xiao Bai, she said. Hee. Upon hearing this, Big Demon shed sad tears. Sure enough, love had disappeared. Then just set it free. It had not been easy for this fish to grow so big. If it were an ordinary koi, he would have caught it and raised it at home.